Burnsland Video presents Sailing on the Carnival Liberty. In this photo, passengers on the Carnival Liberty enjoy the sun and the pool as the ship sails through the Gulf of Mexico on our recent cruise. Although we had cruised several times before, this was our first Carnival cruise. We knew there would be some differences from what we were used to. But one thing that was very much the same was the feeling of being on a ship out in the water under the tropical sun. Unless you aren't sailing somewhere in the tropics, of course, in which case you aren't under the tropical sun. At the time this photo was taken, if we weren't already in the tropics, we were getting very close. The sun doesn't become magically hotter and brighter the moment you cross the Tropic of Cancer, so I'm not sure exactly when we crossed it, but it felt tropical outside pretty much all day long. Anyway, I enjoyed this vantage point where you could get an overview of the ship. So for an overview of our time on the ship, here you go. We enjoyed it. To us, it wasn't quite the same family atmosphere that you would find on the Disney Cruise Line ships. But then it wasn't near the price of the Disney cruises either. There was plenty to do, and if you didn't want to do anything, there were plenty of places to sit and watch the water, read a book, or just soak up the sun. And while at times it was nice to be out on the main deck around the pools here, at other times we enjoyed going to the quieter adults-only area for some quiet moments too. But back to the photo. Sometimes I like to zoom in on an area of the photo to see a little more detail. So here is a closer look at the center area. While you get a better look at some of the people doing whatever they are doing, what I really like here are the footprint trails left on the deck by people going from the various pools and hot tubs to their chairs or wherever they are going. In the sun, those footprints wouldn't last for too long, only to be replaced by more footprints elsewhere. It makes me think of the old Family Circus comic strips, where sometimes the strip would show a dotted line trail running everywhere that one of the kids had gone all through the house. These footprints could possibly be followed in the same way, but the results might not be as humorous. Since it was such a nice view from up where we were, here is a view of Laura enjoying the view. For these photos, we were standing up by the large video screen above the pool area, and that is part of the screen that you can see to the right. It kept us from getting a fully centered view from that level, but the slightly off-center view was just fine. People often say that I am off-center anyway, so maybe that fits. At least I have Laura to keep me centered. Ephesians 5 verse 25 says, "Husbands, love your wives, just as Christ loved the church and gave himself for her." About the photo. I worked on the colors a good bit to give this photo a unique look. Here is the before and after comparison, so that you can see what I'm talking about. As you can see, the photo was quite blue overall before I worked on it. In processing, I was able to make the whites look more white and give everything a slight brown tint just for good measure and to make it look even more sunny, almost as though you were looking through sunglasses as you are looking at the photo. It is interesting to see how the camera picks things up sometimes when you leave the white balance set to auto, and it is good to be able to go in and easily change it later, too. These photos were taken July 17th, 2016, somewhere in the Gulf of Mexico. Thanks for joining us for Burnsland Video Presents.